Hello my people, this is Mwanguzi Shadrack, your doctor from Health Touch Uganda. Today I'm very delighted to be talking about something that's very important, and this is diabetes mellitus, commonly called sukari in the local language here, but some people simply say someone with a high sugar level or someone with high blood glucose. They all come to almost mean the same thing. We are going to be talking about today what exactly it means when we tell you you have diabetes mellitus or you have a condition associated with high sugar levels. But before I go into that, why diabetes? Diabetes is an illness that we live with, very common in our settings here, even worldwide. By the end of the year 2019, it was established that 442 million people worldwide were living with diabetes, and 1.5 million people died that year as a result of diabetes and its related complications. Here in Uganda, if you count 100 people, wherever you find them, and test their blood sugars, you will find 10 of them with elevated blood glucose or with diabetes. But it's also unfortunate that only a few of the people that live with diabetes actually get to know or live knowing that they have this illness. If you counted 100 people that have diabetes, or if you went out to the market or any other public place and tested people's blood sugar levels, and then put aside those that you find with high sugar levels, and then collect 100 of those whose blood sugar levels are high, and then started asking one by one to find out if they actually knew that they had diabetes or their blood sugar levels were elevated, you would be surprised that over 68 of them will be people living not knowing that they have this illness. And that's a problem, because for some of these illnesses, the moment you find out that you have it, that is the first step in as far as treating it, controlling it, managing it is concerned. But if you don't get to find out, the only time you get to know that you have it is perhaps when you've got severe complications, severe damages, which may require a lot of resources in terms of money, time to treat, or may even cost your life, which is so unfortunate. And that's why we considered talking about diabetes, and today I will help you understand what exactly it means to have diabetes. So I'm going to talk about especially two things to help you understand this. I'll talk about glucose. I'll also talk about insulin. Glucose is a substance we find in the food that we eat, while insulin is a hormone produced by your body, a part called the pancreas that helps in controlling the blood glucose especially. One day I told one of my clients that he had diabetes, high sugar levels. He got shocked and said, "No, I am a poor man. I don't take sugar on a daily. I only take it occasionally. Where on earth could I have got this high sugar level that you are telling me about?" And that's a misconception. Most of the people relate the sugar that we put in tea to the sugar we'll be talking about when someone has a high sugar level. Well, the sugar that we put in tea is one of the most famous forms of sugar, but there are other forms of food substances that also have this component called sugar. For example, when you eat cassava, sweet potatoes, rice, yams, posho, maize, especially some of those white foods, the flour, they have what we call carbohydrates, which are later on broken down to give us the sugars. Now, your body needs sugars. Your body needs this glucose. It uses it as a fuel to produce the energy that you use to do the different activities that you do on a daily basis. Just like a car needs fuel to move from one place to another, from Kampala to Masaka, from Kampala to Mbale, from Kampala to Gulu, your body also needs this fuel in form of glucose to produce the energy that you use to do the different activities, to carry jerrycans of water, to move from your house to the compound, to do physical activities, to exercise, to think. All those activities require the energy. And where does the body get this energy? From these sugars that you take in when you eat the food. Of course, there are other forms of fuel that your body can use to make energy. For example, the proteins, the fats, but the sugar, the glucose, is readily available, and it's what the body prefers to use first. That's why when you take a long time when you've not eaten, you will feel weak. You will not be able to do those strenuous activities. Why? Because you don't have enough fuel to produce the energy that you need to execute those activities. So glucose is very important. All these sugars are very important in your body because they help in building your body and also producing the energy that you need. Now, everything is good as long as it's in the desired concentrations. When you eat food, for example, a meal of cassava, and take in that cassava into your intestines, it undergoes the process of digestion where it's broken down into those small particles, the glucose, that will later on be absorbed in the blood. So this blood carries it away from the intestines and distributes it to the different parts of the body. What helps your glucose to move from the blood to the different parts of the body is the hormone called insulin. When the blood glucose goes high, for example, when you've just eaten food, the insulin levels increase in your blood to facilitate or to ensure that this excess glucose coming in or that is accumulating in the blood leaves. It enters the body parts or the cells of the body for either storage to be used later on, or for utilization to be converted into the energy that you need to do the different activities that you do. So, if you have a problem with the way how this insulin works, or if you have a problem with the amount of the insulin that your body can produce, then you are not able to control the amount of glucose that is in your blood. Whenever you eat a starchy meal that contains a lot of this glucose, most of this glucose will just keep in blood. And when it keeps in blood, its concentration will go high above the normal, and that's when we say you have an illness called diabetes mellitus. Of course, when this goes on for long, it starts affecting the different parts of your body. You get the complications that arise as a result of uncontrolled high blood sugar levels, as we shall be emphasizing later on. But for today, I want you to understand that when you eat food, especially the food that contains carbohydrates, the cassava, sweet potatoes, the yams, the posho, the rice, the glucose in there goes into the blood. Ideally, under normal circumstances, it is supposed to be taken up by the body for utilization or storage. And this is aided by the presence of insulin, which is produced when the glucose levels try to go above the normal. So if your body is not able to produce enough insulin, or even when it produces it, the insulin is not able to do what it is meant to do, your glucose levels will go high in blood and you will become diabetic. And that's how it happens. Of course, there are things behind all this, the things that make your insulin not work, or the things that reduce the amount of insulin your body can produce. There are things that put you at a risk of getting all these conditions. There are things you get when such things happen, which are the complications, the different damages that can happen to your body. There are things you feel in your body when such things have happened to you, there are things you're supposed to do to prevent such things from happening to you, and there are things you can do just in case you have diabetes to prevent it from causing the severe damages and control this this glucose level. And that's why it's important for you to keep up with us. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow our Facebook page, like all our social media platforms so you can get notified whenever we upload some new videos and post some new information. Remember, you have one life to live. Oh yes, one life to live. Mwanguzi Shadrach, Health Touch Uganda. Follow the light.